Folks, it's time again. It's an encore to bring this program back on the airways. J Talks to the People. I am the host, Jay. Welcome to the third edition of Right versus Wrong. I do have my special guest standing by. I told you we were going to bring some more and another piece of the action. And to get in touch with this program, if you're not able to make it to this live session, you can also send an email to jtalkstothepeople@yahoo.com. Questions, comments, feedback. Program where we discuss issues and problems, and then we have to get to solutions. Now, you could be a person to step up the game with solutions instead of just sitting back. And this is one of the avenues and one of the forums in which we do so. Constructive criticism, problem solving. Right versus wrong. And I caught this on the internet yesterday. A person, what I see, that had extreme talent, that was very talented and very good entertainer, actor, the late, great Mr. Bill Nunn. You may be familiar with him. You may be familiar with him as Radio Raheem from Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. You also may be familiar with him through Dudda Man from motion picture New Jack City. He was also had a role in Spider-Man and several other films. A film called Lockdown, that was a pretty good film. I believe he died at the age of 63. And I'm telling you, people are just leaving out of this world this year. I mean, people come and go each and every day. And I will attempt in the works to try to do a program about the other celebrities that left us. Muhammad Ali, Prince, China, and I believe it was a UFC fighter. Can't pronounce his name. Maybe one of the guests will know about it. Also, let me add that you can call into this program at the area code of 773-897-6235. Again, 773-897-6235. And you can also catch us on iTunes, YouTube. Going to Google or YouTube, typing in J Talks to the People, and a whole lot of content will come up. Several episodes. You can also check the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/jtalkstothepeople. Very good episode yesterday with Mrs. J Talks to the People. She was talking about child care. I do appreciate her knowledge and insight on that. But without further ado, because time is limited, if I don't get them on soon, we'll probably have a Right versus Wrong Part 4. I don't know how long this is going to go on, but let me introduce special guests. Ladies first, I do have Miss Rain. I'd like to bring her on the line. Give me folks time just a moment. And Miss Rain, how are you this day?
I'm great. How are you, J.TALKS?
I am pretty good. I cannot complain. Seasons change. There's fall. Well, I believe it is fall now, right? The leaves are falling. So everything is changing. Weather changed, getting cooler, days are getting shorter, but I'm doing good, you know. I'm glad you can make it on today. Thank you very much.
I'm glad that I can make it on today as well. It's a beautiful day outside. It's, the beginning of fall, just like you said, and, new beginning. So, here comes fall weather.
All right, please stand by. All right, my next special guest, you can find him on YouTube. His channel, Wake the Hell Up 7. Wake the Hell Up. I'd like to bring back on Mr. Ron G. How are you today, sir?
How you doing today, J.TALKS? How you doing, Miss Renee? I forgot her name by mistake.
She's on hold. She's on hold right now. I'll bring her back on in a moment. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Would you like to let the folks anything about your show that maybe you may have some new videos coming out, some very interesting events with your show? Anything you'd like to let them know at this time?
Yeah, I'm going to have it on YouTuber named Andrew26101. You can check out his page. I also will have on the Conscious One. He has a YouTube page. You can check out his page. We were doing the Google Hangout this upcoming week.
Okay, sir. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, excellent, excellent. So moving right along. First off, are any of you familiar with the actor Bill Nunn?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
My. All right, now moving on to topic today. I have a few things I wanted to get out. Okay, Mr. Ron G, I'm going to put you on hold. Is that your background, Ron G?
Yeah, hold on. You gonna put down the music. Hold on 1 second. Alright. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I may have to put you on mute. I can hear you, but his background noise is intruding into the program.
Alright, it's down now.
Okay. Now,
Can I better?
yeah, I can hear you. All right. So, just one moment.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm talking today about, right versus wrong and morality, some like to call it morality relativity or objective morality. And a lot of times, I find that people like to discuss with morality that is subjective or objective. Do you believe that, now I'm talking to the people out there, do you believe that morality is subjective or objective? And it's a very critical question when we're assessing right versus wrong. And there's often this mentality of we'll agree to disagree. Everybody has their opinion. So at the end of that conversation, we just have our opinions, but did we really solve what was truly correct or not correct? Something that we should be doing and not doing, in our everyday lives. Now, I'm going to ask this question to Miss Rain. Do you believe that we should try to focus more on truth than rather just opinions all the time? Or you can just say, well, she or her has her opinion about how to do this thing or how to go about doing this or how to raise your child or how to do whatever you do on the job. Should we kind of develop conversations that will become more factual instead of just opinionated? Miss Rain.
Alright, so it could be one of two things because you have to also have into play because a lot of people like to keep it real and they keep it so real that it goes wrong because you have to account more than for what just your feelings are because people have, even when you start to begin with truth, right? People have what they consider to be the truth. If people can believe in a lie hard enough, they can make it seem like that's the truth for them. So I really think that guidelines as far as right and wrong, it has to be something generalized so that it'll be fair for everyone. I understand what you're saying about like dealing with just truth, but people's truth can be different. I can what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I understand. I kind of see how that dynamic works out. Let's go over to Mr. Ron G. Mr. Ron G, what say you about the question?
Well, everything looks like this. When you have a situation, wrong versus right, right? Sometimes people don't actually believe what the person that you do your research. When I do my video, people may agree or disagree on certain topics I say. Yet when they do their research, they start to see what's true and what is not fiction and non-fiction. Because when you allow emotions to be involved in the truth, it dismantles everybody's publication. That's my take on that.
All right, very good. And I'm also noticing about, today with all the shootings and everything and in the news, and, a lot of people want to cry prejudice and so-called racism right out the gate. And a lot of it can be attributed to what I call the victim mentality. Miss Rain, give us the definition or your definition of the victim mentality.
Okay, so as far as the victim mentality, I guess this could go back to just a story, just like the little girl who cried wolf or whatever, version of it that you hear, where a person is basically blaming other people or false flagging situations to where it might not actually be the case, but I don't know whether, it's a victim mentality in that case as well. Like, I don't really agree with that. I don't know what's going on with that stuff. Because I have certain ideas about what exactly it is that's going on in this country today. I mean, there's certain things like, what would it take for you to be able to just say, okay, this is something that has to do with hatred, that has to do with the color of someone's skin? Because there's people out there that they'll go all the way around. They go on a world tour before they admit the truth. Racism exists because it exists in people's brain. It doesn't matter whether it's logical or not. If you think about something, that becomes your truth. So that's my opinion in it.
Okay, Mr. Ron G, what is your take on victim mentality? The definition.
Both need to be held accountable for their own actions. If you put yourself in a situation that you know you're not supposed to put yourself in, and you get yourself in trouble, that's because you allow that to happen. If you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, it's going to happen. Spiritually, mentally, and physically. So you cannot blame on everybody for your situation, and you could have avoided it as much as possible. The thing about it is the majority of the people love negativity. So if you love negativity, you're going to attract negativity. So if you think positive and do your words and actions, it's going to speak for itself. You won't have to deal with as much drama. Some folks just love drama. That's why they get into these matter groups and all this other stuff. It's just for a show. It's not reality.
Okay, that segues us into our next clip. I have a clip of Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., the author of The Compensatory Concept. It's a long title, so I'm going to just cut it short at that. Y'all take a listen to this first clip.
That is the ideology of the greatest government system ever thought up. And the name of that government, don't call it by other names, that causes confusion. The name of that government is the system of white supremacy. It's not the American government, it's not the Russian government, not the conservative government, not the Tea Party government, not the Ku Klux Klan. These are just labels. I mean, abstract labels. It's just one label, one size fits all. The system of white supremacy. You got it all in one package. That's all you have to say. You don't have to say anything else. You don't have to say these white people who believe in racial segregation. And then next week, these white people are bigots. And then next week, these white people that mistreat black people. And then next week, these white people who are members of the Republican Party. That's confusion.
Oh, well, it depends on what
you mean by blame and the degree of blame. All people can blame themselves for being not as they ought to be. Okay? But when you compare the victims of white supremacy to the white supremacists are to blame for everything that their victims do. Why? Because we are under the white supremacists. See, the white supremacists are like the captain of a ship, all of them collectively. Whatever goes in error on the ship, and the ship is the planet, this planet Earth, the people who are in charge are always to blame if something happens that shouldn't happen. That's just the law of compensation. That's the law of logic. The captain of the ship, in other words, when someone takes over all of the areas of activity of the non-white people of the planet, in economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war, and they take over all of these areas of activity and don't allow the people who are engaging in these areas of activity to have any say-so, except just the say-so that they allow them to have, which means they don't really have any say-so, then that means when something is in error, when anything goes in error, when there's something that happens that shouldn't happen, it is the fault of the captain of the ship, which in this case would be the white supremacists of this planet.
Exactly.
You know, you never blame the CIA or the FBI or the national security agencies or Americans for harming anyone. The codified language, which is the language of truth. Otherwise, it shouldn't be a part of the code. Anything that's not true shouldn't be a part of the code. So, if there is something happening that shouldn't be happening, what are the words that we use to describe it, and who do we blame for it? In a system of white supremacy, which is the only real government on the planet, you blame the system of white supremacy. These are capital letters. The system of white supremacy. They are always the usual suspects. When anything happens among the people of this planet that involves people of color, non-white people, the black, brown, red, yellow, people who have color in his or her skin, you blame the white supremacists, racist man and racist woman, for everything that shouldn't happen, that does happen. You blame them. Not CIA, not Americans, not the Belgians. See, these are too broad. These are confusing terms. Not the Illuminati, whatever that is. No. It's the most powerful and the smartest people on this planet. Are those white people, not all white people, but those white people who believe in dominating and mistreating people who have color in their skin. They're called white supremacists. They are always the usual suspects when anything happens among people of color that shouldn't happen.
Okay, so that was Neely Fuller Jr. I don't know how good the quality was on those last two clips, but let me go to Miss Rain. Miss Rain, for what you understood and heard so far, what's your pretty much take on those clips?
I understand what he's trying to say, but I don't fully agree with it. The only issue I have is that if that's the case, then that makes everybody who isn't Caucasian illness and violence. Like, there's nothing that you can do to improve your state. And I believe that there are things that you can do that can improve your state, even though people are under oppression. And I also believe that there's also, on the flip side, things that you can do that can destroy what you already have, even if it's what little you already had accomplished in life. So I believe that you do have some safe stuff. Are there like systems put into place? It would be ridiculous for me to try to pretend like there's not. Like if you look at like the legal system and different things that are put into place and education and stuff, it's really rigged. But I feel like the only thing that's going to work against it is preservation. Perseverance. And if you keep giving all that power to them, then you don't have anything. What's the use of even living? You have to fight for what you want in your life, and everybody has to work for what they want. And I feel like we do have some say-so in our future as being a person of color. So I don't feel like, you should put all of the blame for the things that you go through based solely on them, but I'm not going to give them a scapegoat card. Like, they're not responsible for anything, because they do stuff. They do put policies in place that makes it not easy for you to do these things, for you to be successful in life.
All right, Mr. Ron G., give us your quick take on everything you've heard so far.
Most of the things he said was true. The thing about it is he's fighting against the iron being as he was speaking in his video. And most folks don't know about these people, but they do exist. Yet at the same time, we have to be collective to be more sufficient with ourselves. See, what happened was we wanted to go away as a people from doing the right thing and go into other people's business. And so when we collectively wanted to be like other cultures, that it be in our true natural self, and the mothers and the kings of the earth, we wanted to become peasants. So we got to be more responsible in order for this culture of the Caucasians to respect us. We're not even respecting ourselves as the people most of the time. So how you expect somebody that's supposedly your oppressor to respect you if you're not willing to change your ways to let them know you ain't out to play? So that's my take on that situation.
All right, thank you very much. I have a next clip with by a person by the name of Jesse Lee Peterson and Sean Hannity. They go into a discussion, and here is Jesse Lee Peterson's argument and view that racism doesn't exist and never existed. Let's take a listen.
Our issue is not about racism. There's no such thing as racism. It's a judgment that we make of one another. Let me say this. Where's the proof of it? Let me ask Sean, where's the proof of it? Well, the proof is, if you want the technical legal definition, and that is the inherent belief in superiority of one race over another, there are white people that are racist against black people. Black on white racism exists as well. That's not racism. That's just a definition. Sean, I can sit here right now and judge you and think to myself, I'm better than you. That would be a lie. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. It's a personal judgment. But some people, look, we got to put this, Sean. Why haven't we been able to resolve it? We have done everything for these people that they ask us to do. Well, I come from a Christian perspective in my life, and I believe that we're all children of God. But there are people that believe that they're superior. There are people that don't like other people because of their race. There are people that are ignorant. There are people. That's not racism. What you're saying is that there are people. What do you call it? There are people. Well, what do you call it if you're not going to call it racism? What it is? So you call it judgment. Because it's a decision that they make. We're having a semantical argument that I think is... I know, but Sean, we have to get rid of this illusion that racism is... Let me show you why. It's because white people are being controlled by that, and then they are afraid by it. No. Democrats play a false race card when it's not true. I'm not saying that false allegations are racist. But I think there is some small minority of people that are racist. You say you're a Christian, right? Yeah. The scripture says that our battle is not a physical battle, it's a spiritual battle against wickedness in high places. It's a battle between good and evil. So if it's not a physical battle, how can it be racist? Listen, I've got to go because I'm just out of time, my friend.
Jesse Lee Peterson and Sean Hannity. As Sean Hannity was saying, it's a semantical argument. Yeah, it kind of looks that way. We're just calling it one thing and calling it something else. Folks, this is J.TALKS to the People radio program. Miss Rain and Mr. Ron G, we have about 3 minutes left. I want to get both of your takes on it. We can wrap this thing up. Miss Rain, okay, Miss Rain, you have the floor. What do you say?
All right. I just wanted to hear exactly what's his name? You said Lee Peterson. That's his name. I just want to know what he considers it. If it's not racism out there, then what he does to consider it to be, because it's not positive. Whatever it is that people are using as a ruler or measurement of who's greater than who, it's something. If he doesn't want to call it racism, it's something in general. Like, you can't just say it doesn't exist just because you can't see it.
All right, what I can do is after the show, I can give you Jesse Lee Peterson's contact information, and you can call his radio program, and he'll definitely talk with you. Y'all can talk about it, and I can definitely provide that to you. Let me go over to Mr. Ron G. What say you, sir, on the matter?
Jesse Lee Peterson said something I've been saying in my video. We all fighting battles in high spiritual places, higher entities. Now he's not going to go over it because he's working for most of them. See, the thing about it is, when you get to a certain position of authority, you get to meet these people. And he didn't really go fully into it. Sean Hannity was playing politics as usual. That's my take on it.
All right, folks, this was another good edition of Right versus Wrong. I had my guests on today, Miss Rain and Mr. Ron G. I do thank both of y'all for coming on the show today.
90 seconds.
Okay, folks, thank you for tuning in, people. Hope you gained something out of this program. Hopefully we'll do this again sometime. Take care.